So if you don't know, my name's Jesse Pollak. I'm the creator of Base. I've been working in crypto for a decade now, and it's a pretty cool day to be giving this talk because if you aren't paying attention, you're not on Twitter, you're not checking the news, Bitcoin just crossed $100,000. And I remember when Bitcoin crossed 10K. I remember when Bitcoin crossed 1K. And it's just incredible to see how far we've come. But like Samya said, the prices, they'll go up, they'll go down. And at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is what are we building? And are we building something that's going to change the world? And I think the answer is yes. And so what I'm going to be talking about today is what do we mean by this idea of building a global on-chain economy? How are we doing from a progress perspective? Where are we going in 2025? And how can all of you be a part of it? And I want to start with a little bit of a recap of my last few weeks, which is, if you didn't know, I just went around the world. We flew from New York to Nairobi in Kenya, to Bangalore in India, to Bangkok in Thailand, to Singapore, to Manila, to meet builders and listen and learn and understand what are they building, how are they contributing to this on-chain economy, and what do they need to build better. And there were a lot of great stops on this trip. I loved every single city. But I must confess that being in Bangalore was the highlight of the entire trip. Oh, this is showing the wrong slide. Wait, what's going on? I think my slide, something's broken with my slides. I think the slides got unsynced. I'm not quite sure what's happening with the slides right now. Let me make sure that the screen sharing is happening with the right screen window. Can you all see that? Okay, there we go. Fixed it. There was. I loved all the cities. They were all incredible, but there was nothing quite like Bangalore. And this wasn't just a feeling that I had. This was a reflection that my entire team, all 15 of us who were on this trip, had together. We took off from Bangalore, and all of us looked at each other and said, "Holy crap! If we're going to spend any time anywhere, it's got to be here, and it's got to be in India, because the energy of builders, the quality of developers, the level of number of cracked founders who are building the future in Bangalore really blew us away. And it's not just Bangalore, and it wasn't just those few days we were there. Over the last few months, year, we've seen an incredible movement starting to be built in India. There's so many talented developers building. On Base, there's a huge community emerging. We had something like 20, 21 just organically planned meetups. We have folks like Samya and FBI. Shout out FBI, leading the charge, bringing people on chain, teaching them how to build. And we have, I think most excitingly, real use cases. Things like credit, things like micro lending, tokenization. We're seeing adoption of crypto by governmental agencies, things like Finternet. All of this is happening. It's happening faster and quicker and in a bigger way in India than anywhere else we went in the entire trip. And even then, the United States, where I live, and I am it's late at night on the West Coast right now. And so that energy in India was so inspiring for us. And I think it's indicative of the energy that is happening around the world around building an on-chain economy. And I want to take a second to talk about, when we use this word on-chain, what does that actually mean? And so I can't see y'all, but normally I would ask, raise your hand if you are a developer and you've built an app and you've been frustrated because you had to go through an app store review process where you got blocked. Raise your hand if you're a developer and you've been frustrated because you've made money, but then you've had to pay 30% of the money you make to the App Store just because. Raise your hand if you're a creator and you've been creating and putting your creativity onto centralized platforms and haven't actually been making money. despite you being the one who's bringing the creative genius. And raise your hand if you are just an everyday person who's been left out of some experience, some app because of where you're born or where you live or what phone you have. This is the internet of today. It's a broken internet, a centralized internet that's controlled by a small number of companies who set rules and create basically walled gardens where all of us have the, I guess, privilege of participating, but they make the money. We bring the creativity, we bring the genius, and they profit from it. And when we're talking about on-chain, what we're talking about is a new internet. We're talking about an internet that's built by the people for the people, where when we build, we don't have to go through an app store review process. When we build, we make 100% of the profits. When we create, we make money because it's our creativity that's bringing people together. And regardless of where we're born, regardless of where we live, regardless of what phone we have, we all get the same access because it's a level playing field that's globally accessible that all of us can participate in. That's what we mean by on-chain. And it's not just an idea. This is happening right before our eyes. We see stable coins that are being widely adopted around the world, both dollar stable coins and other currencies like Nigerian naira, and tons of other local stable coins. We see global payments where people are able to make instant, completely global payments at very low costs anywhere in the world. We're seeing on-chain finance emerge, where people are able to save, to lend, to borrow, to trade at a fraction of the cost of using the centralized systems in 24/7 global markets that anyone can participate in. And finally, we're seeing creator economics turned on their head, where it went from centralized platforms making 90% of the profit to creators earning 90% of the profit, putting more money back in the hands of everyday people who are building their creativity, building their lives, building their businesses online. And so that's what on-chain is. And then the next obvious question is, why Base? I created Base 2.5 years ago, and our idea has been to build this global economy. But what's the actual role that we play? And the role is that we want to, and we are, with all of you in this room, building that global on-chain economy that's going to increase innovation, creativity, and freedom. And when we do that, we're going to bring the entire world on-chain. We're talking about millions of builders, billions of people, trillions of dollars of assets, all running on a secure, decentralized, 1 second, 1 cent, that's what 1S, 1C stands for, platform that makes it possible for anyone, anywhere to participate in this new next generation of the internet. And it's not just an idea, it's happening. Base a year and a half ago didn't exist. Today, there's more than 9 million transactions happening every day. Builders have earned more than $26 million building on-chain on Base. Creators have earned more than $2 million. There's billions of dollars locked in the economy. And there's thousands and thousands of developers, including so many in Bangalore and in India, who are building this future alongside us. And so we've made a lot of progress, but it's still day one. And I think today in particular is still day one, because you look at the price of Bitcoin, you see, oh, wow, we've reached this incredible milestone, $100,000 per Bitcoin. And at the same time, when you look at the adoption of the on-chain economy, it's still really small. We have millions of people who are using on-chain apps today, and there are billions of people in the world. Heck, there's 1.3 billion people in India alone. And so we've been building for a decade, and we've started reaching these incredible milestones. But in many ways, we're still on this flat part of the curve. But what's coming is this steep slope. Because finally, after 10 years of building, we have all of the infrastructure. We have fast, cheap block space. We have easy to use wallets. We have powerful identity tools and social graphs. And all of those are going to come together to make 2025 the year where we bring the entire world on chain and we accelerate up this curve to build this global on-chain economy together. And so I want to talk a little bit about when we're thinking about 2025, when the base core team is thinking about 2025, what are we focused on? And so the first thing is that we want to make this on-chain economy work for everyone, not just people in the United States, not just people in a single country, not just people with a single phone, everyone. And there's two ways we have to make that happen. One is we need to make sure that everyone everywhere can on-ramp and off-ramp into the on-chain economy. And so that's why we've been working to make it so in every country, 190 countries, there's easy, cheap, accessible on and off ramps. And then the second thing is right now, so much of the on-chain economy is denominated in dollars. And that's been a really powerful thing. And dollars play a really powerful role in the global economy. But at the end of the day, what we're building is global economy for everyone. And there's so many other currencies that play critical roles in the global economy. The Indian rupee, the Nigerian naira, the Singapore dollar. There's all of these other currencies, all these other countries, all these other communities who right now coming on chain means changing their worldview about money. It means figuring out, okay, what is this dollar thing or what is this Ethereum thing? And so what we're working to do is we're working to bring the top 100 local currencies on chain by the end of 2026, with 25 to 50 happening next year. So then every single person will be able to come on chain and it won't be a change of their worldview about money. Instead, it will just be a technology upgrade. And they'll be able to use their money in a way that's better, faster, cheaper, and more globally connected. And that's going to build a global on chain economy that works for everyone. So that's the first thing. We're going to make this economy work for you. We're going to make this economy work for people around the world. The second thing, the economy is nothing without developers, because developers and builders are the ones who are actually going to build the products that bring the world on chain. And so we are going to make it incredibly easy to build on chain. We're doing this thing with things like base names, so you can have an out of the box identity that lets you build more customized experiences for your users. We're doing these things like the smart wallet. So you don't have to worry about on ramps. You don't have to worry about onboarding. You don't have to worry about seed phrases. You can just focus on building a great app, and every user can onboard in less than 10 seconds. And we're doing this with things like Onchain Kit, where literally right now with AI tools, if you go to onchainkit.xyz and you plug it into Cursor or V0, you can go from nothing to a fully functioning on-chain product in less than an hour. Because you don't have to worry about a backend anymore. You can literally use front-end components powered by Onchain Kit that make it possible to build a full functioning app with a feed, with minting, with your identity, with payments, with on-ramping, everything working out of the box. So that's the second thing. We're going to make it incredibly easy for all of you to build. The third thing is that the last decade has been defined by creators. They've made the internet what it is. They've made social media what it is, but they've also gotten a raw deal because today centralized platforms take 90% of the profit from all of the creativity that creators actually make. And so we're going to flip that on its head. And 2025 is going to be all about bringing creators on chain and giving them the tools so that they can go viral on chain. And so that when they go viral, they can earn 10 times the money. Because instead of platforms taking 90%, now creators are going to take 90%. And they're going to benefit from building and creating on a better internet. So that's all great. Making the economy work for everyone, making it easy to build on, making creators earn from their creativity. But at the end of the day, none of it matters if we can't keep scaling. Because we're going to go from millions to tens of millions to hundreds of millions to billions of people. And unless we're continuing to scale, we're not going to be able to serve those folks. So that's the fourth priority. And then the fifth is this economy will not be for everyone unless it is decentralized. Because unless this economy is decentralized, it inevitably will end up co-opted by one corporation or one country. And so we're going to keep making progress on decentralizing base and decentralizing the entire global on-chain economy across all of these different platforms. We just made a huge milestone with moving fault proofs live on Base so that anyone can validate the chain. And we're very close to achieving stage 1 decentralization as we move to a Security Council over the next few months. And so I guess as I am wrapping up, my message to all of y'all is let's get building. The time is now. This is not something that I can do alone, that one team can do alone, that one company or one country can do alone. Building the on-chain economy is something that's going to require all of us doing it together. And as you think about building, I want to leave you with 3 things that are very top of mind for me as we head into 2025 about how you can build better. The first is that we got to make something people want. And I stole this directly from Y Combinator, who's been in the game for a long time, helping people build startups. But the message here is that I think over the last 5 years, at times we've gotten too distracted by things like tokens and prices. And we've lost sight of the fact that unless we are building products that solve real problems and that people actually love, we're doing something wrong. And so as you're thinking about what you're building, make something people want. Take it to your friend, take it to your family, ask them, how can this solve a problem for you? And then take that feedback, learn, and iterate. So the first thing is make something people want. The second thing, we got to build dead simple experiences. And this isn't just like good for crypto. It's been too long that we've been saying, oh, this experience is good for crypto. We are competing with Web2 businesses and huge public companies that have spent literally tens of billions of dollars optimizing their user experiences to make them just work. And we need to build experiences that are better. And we finally have the technology to deliver that. We can make it fast. We can make it cheap. We can make it easy. We can make it actually feel more connected than Web2 because you can go into an app and everything can already be there for you. But we have to focus on making it just work. And we have to focus on delivering experiences that anyone can use and anyone can feel delightful from. So that's the second thing, build dead simple experiences. And now the third thing, we got to all bring new people on chain. And this is an exercise that maybe I'd ask all of you to do. Whatever you're building, go to your friends, to your family, maybe to a random person on the street, show it to them. You get one sentence to say, here's what this is. And then you got to watch. What is their experience of coming on chain? What worked? What didn't work? What were they confused by? And then take those learnings, share them with me, hopefully, so we can solve some of the problems that we surely have, but incorporate them in your product, in your content, in whatever you are creating, and figure out how you can use those learnings to bring more people on chain. Because if all of us find 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 people who we can bring on chain, it's going to ignite this wildfire of people realizing that the new economy is better and that the new economy can work for them. And so we got to bring people on chain. And so I guess if I leave you with one more message, it's let's freaking build. Our time is now. We've been building the infrastructure for a decade, and it's finally ready. The price of Bitcoin just crossed 100,000. It's going to be all across the news tomorrow morning. Your friends and your family are going to be texting you. And we can't just tell them about the prices. We have to tell them about the products. We have to tell them about the economy. We have to tell them about this future where we together build a new global economy that's built by the people, that's for the people, that makes us all be able to live a better life, regardless of where we live, regardless of where we are born. And the only way we can build that is if all of us come together and make it happen. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. And I hope to get to meet many of you in person the next time I'm in Bangalore in India. And in the meantime, reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to me on Warpcast, reach out to me on Telegram. I'm Jesse Pollak. Have a great rest of the conference. And thanks for having me.